Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Tuesday, Transformation Tuesday. I hope you're having an amazing day. Sonia here, and today we are going to explore intention setting. Yes, and how it fits into your everyday life. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Sonia Chernachan. I've been helping women get physically fit for over 25 years now and getting fit and strong and healthy and doing that in a way that works for them. So anyways, how are you guys doing? I am jumping on as I do every Tuesday now for Transformation Tuesdays. And today, like I said, we're going to talk about intention setting. So let's just start first with who's here. Let me know, drop me a comment if you are here right now live. If not, be sure to leave me a comment or hashtag replay later when you find this video somewhere in your feed. Can you believe it's March already? It's March 5th, you guys. It's like 2020. I thought 2023 went fast, but 2024 is going very, very quickly as well. I don't know how you're feeling about it, but today it's a beautiful day here in Langley, BC. I was out and about in the beautiful sunshine. I hope you were too and got out there and enjoyed it. So let's talk about intention setting. And here's the format. We're going to talk a little bit about intention setting and how that can come into play even in your workouts and in your nutrition and all aspects of your life, your whole lifestyle, okay? Intention setting is just something that's been around for years and years and years. And I know for me, the first time I ever came across intention setting was when I was actually, I think I was, I'm going to say I was 10, 11, must have been 11. And I was going to go and take a sport up that my mother wanted me to do. And I really wanted to always do dance. So you can imagine now why I do dance, right? When I was growing up, I always wanted to do dance, ballet, tap, jazz, all that. You know, what all the young girls always want to do, right? At that age. And but my mother was encouraging me to go figure skating, and as much as I'd been on the ice before, because we were from Montreal and I'd been on the ice before in skates, I wasn't so sturdy on my feet in those days, and so she wanted me to take this figure skating. And I'll never forget, I was really like resistant to it because that's not really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be free in my feet. Like, if you know me really well now, I'm like barefoot queen, right? Like, I always want to be barefoot, nothing on my feet. And but anyways, I went and did it because that's what you do when your parents tell you to do something. So anyways, we were on the ice and getting set up. You know, we're all laced up, we're on the ice, and we get to meet our coach who's going to be training us for the next several months, right? And that was, you know, that was a tough one. And I remember her saying to set the intention that it doesn't matter if you're good or bad on the ice, just that you're going to do your very best and to see yourself doing that. And so she just kind of took us through this little thing where you just like think about seeing yourself skating on the ice, right? And seeing yourself taking those movements. And I remember working with her over the months after that. I really enjoyed working here. She was one of my most favorite coaches ever. And I did learn a lot from her with intention setting. And she used to tell us to go home when we're learning new moves. She would say, okay, I want you to go home and I want you to just see yourself doing it in your mind, right? And I thought that was, you know, well, probably at that time I didn't think it was so cool. I didn't really understand it, but I did it anyway. So it's like creating this whole dream in your mind of seeing yourself doing it. So I guess living from the end, as we now discuss it now, right? When we're talking about intention setting, we want to live as if we're from the end. And so I learned a lot from her, and it really helped me with my skating. And I did actually enjoy skating. I love skating. I had a great time doing it. Got to do different ice capades, like our kids' ice capades and contests and competitions, and it was a lot of fun. I made some great friends. But I think that was my very first experience with intention setting and seeing myself. And don't get me wrong, I had a few teachers along the way after that too that actually talked about a lot about visualization and seeing things. Um, happening, like see it happen and see yourself passing the test and see yourself. It's actually interesting when I look back at it now, I didn't realize how much that intention setting was actually already happening in my life until I got into my later life. And then, of course, here we are, right? It is such a big thing now about intention setting. Um, so yeah, so that's just one story of me. I'd love to know your story. When was your first experience with intention setting? We all have one, I'm sure, but we're going to just take that and relate it into. I made some key points tonight I wanted to talk about. Always in your health and your fitness, your wellness, your lifestyle, how you live your life. There are some key things that you want to put into place, and we can use intention setting as we're doing it as well. So it's things like, let's talk about nutrition. So I really focus on mindful eating. So, really taking the time to know what it is you're putting in your body, making sure that it's whole, dense nutrition so that we're really feeding our bodies and energizing our bodies as well. When that way, when you put foods in, it's like if you ever put something in and you just kind of feel crappy afterwards, you've had like on the run, you go through a fast food and you put it in, and you just feel like crap afterwards. Well, that's being shown to you that that's not really good and healthy for you, right? We know, we've all done it. We've all been on the run. We've all been starving, and we've all done the drive-through. I'm sure. So those things are things that you want to set the intention that that you're prepared for those times. And so always knowing what you're going to be doing for the week ahead with your meals. I love to do meal prep. Not everybody wants to do meal prep, and that's totally fine. You don't have to if you don't want to. And then you have to set up your intention about exercise. Like, what is your intention with physical activity? If you work at a job all day long and you're at a desk and you don't get out in fresh air and you're not doing walks, you don't even get a lunch break, like all those things, you need to set some intentions so that you're getting some sort of physical activity every day all through the week, because otherwise you're going to find yourself exhausted and tired. Don't forget, exercise can energize you and make you feel like full of life, opposed to being dragged and drained, right? Don't forget, a lot of us are in office buildings. Some of you will be sitting in offices with fluorescent lighting. That actually depletes your energy for sure. I don't know why we still have those things in schools anyways. We should have better lighting for sure. So mindful eating, physical activity, all these are places where we can set intention. The other thing is our sleep. And setting an intention of not having any devices around for at least an hour or two before bedtime, because you remember when you're scrolling and that light, it really does mess up your circadian rhythm in your body. And you really want to be relaxed and rested going into sleep. You don't want to be all stressed out, scrolling through, watching scary movies, all that kind of stuff. So mindful eating, physical activity, and your sleep hygiene, right? That's important. You need to get that 8 hours. Some of us need a little more, some of us need a little less. You know what your body is. So set that intention to turn off the screens at least a couple hours before bedtime. So if you're going to bed at 11, nothing, after 9 o'clock, read a book, do something else. Stress management. One of the great things you can do with stress management is finding ways to do, 5 minutes of mindfulness, just breathing. I know I just downloaded this really cool app. What's it called? Let me look it up, you guys. Anyways, I downloaded this app because what I found was, as I'm going through the day, because there's some times when I'm at my desk, and I can be there for a while, especially if I'm like website building or building a landing page. I can be there for a couple hours and lose track of time because you get so engrossed in the work. So what I found was that was really hard on my hips and my back. So I needed to get up and away from my desk. So I downloaded an app. What is it called? Triple Flame. Actually, it's through the Gene Keys. I don't know if you know the Gene Keys. If you don't, it's okay. You can look it up. Anyways, it's an app that you can do. You can see here, and it's like a start pause. And what I've done is so that throughout the day, I'm taking the time to actually take some, 3 minutes of just mindfulness. And you guys, I've only been doing it for the last 7 or 8 days, and I already feel better. What you do is you schedule it in, and you can have guided music or just music, silent or just a journey. There's different ones. I've just been using the music, so it's this music that plays, and then it plays or writes a quote at the top. Like you can see, there's 7 beings right now. There's 7 people on the app right now, and you just hit the start, and it starts to play. Can you hear it? You probably can't hear it through here. But anyways, for 3 minutes, I walk away from my screen. Usually I'm looking out the window or I go out in the patio or I'll do something. So it's 3 minutes of like just total breathing, relaxation, and what a difference it's made. So it goes off like at least 6 times in the day. So I'm taking six, so 18 minutes a day, I'm taking some mindfulness time to myself. It's helped with my stress level. I'm less triggered by things that are happening that, when you get stressed out, we all know that, you have kids at home and they stress you out. I don't have kids at home anymore, but you know what? Talking them on the phone as adults can sometimes stress you out too. So it's that 3 minutes, just 3 minutes to thrive, I would even say, I would call it, right? So being mindful of that is really taking time to find things that remove stress in your life. Another key one is hydration, you guys. When it comes to your fitness and your health, especially if you're struggling right now with losing weight and you're going through menopause, you better be making sure you're tracking your water. So setting that intention of tracking your water, half your body weight in ounces per day, and for every coffee or caffeine drink that you have throughout the day, you must replace that with 8 ounces equal to. So if it's a cup of coffee, you want to replace it with a cup of water. Okay, so half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 150 pounds, it's 75 ounces per day. Um, and if you have a couple of cups of coffee, then of course you're going to have to go to like 85 ounces or 90 ounces. So really be mindful of that. And then just really starting to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. That's one of the things. Positive habits create a positive life. So when you have positive thoughts, you have a positive life, because everything that is in our external is from our internal. So if we're having negative thoughts, we're probably seeing a lot of negative stuff happening in our life. But if we're in this positive mindset, it doesn't mean that we're positive all the time, you guys. I have to say that because it's not like I never have negative thoughts. We all go through that. It's just part of being human, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we came here to, do some lessons. We're here to learn some things, right? And one of those things is really kind of negating and finding ways to replace the negative and adding a positive to it. And what you'll start to do is you'll start to see things change in your external world. Whatever you change internally shows up externally. So that comes with, like, we have, light and dark, positive, negative, female, male. Like, we have all these, this is duality, right? So we're always working through that. So it's part of, the shadow. The ego sometimes will take over. There's times when your ego gets, out of hand, right? We got to check the ego. It doesn't mean ignoring it. It means acknowledging it and actually witnessing it and knowing those things about yourself. I'm really about that. It's not about saying, it's not there, ignore it, push it away. That's not it at all. Because that wouldn't be having the experience we're supposed to be having here, right? That's just my take on it. Anyways, and then the other part is setting intentions to have really good connections and relationships with people that are like-minded. And I know I say this a lot on my videos. I'm always talking about, finding and surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded. And you do want to do that because you are a reflection of the 5 people that you hang out with. So look at the 5 people in your life right now that you spend the most time with, and that is a reflection of yourself. So choose wisely, right? I always say choose wisely and surround yourself with people that are going where you want to go as well. And then self-care. Self-care, that's an intention setting, especially us as women. And maybe you still have kids at home, and maybe you have a tendency to put yourself on the bottom of the list. I really encourage you to switch that around and start putting yourself at the top of the list and filling your cup up, because when your cup is filled, you can fill others, right? If your cup is empty, and I promise you, I've been there myself, having young children and working and marriage and all those things. It can very well we lose ourselves as women sometimes in those situations, right? We really do lose ourselves, and that's usually when things can start to break down. So I encourage you to really fill yourself up, feed yourself, always first, right? And it's like, on an airplane, they tell you don't give the mask to your kid, give it to yourself first, then put it on your child, right? Because you're of no use to that person. So that's really important. Take care of yourself. I can't encourage that enough. Goal setting. Goal setting is an intention setting. So even with your exercise, smart goals, pick things that you know. So if you intend to go work out, 3 days a week or 4 days a week or 5 days a week, and you make that commitment to yourself, remember everything that you commit to yourself, stay in integrity with, because when you're not in integrity with yourself, you can't be in integrity with others. It's just so much easier to be out of integrity, right? So always be in integrity with yourself. If you're going to commit to 3 workouts a week, then do that. If you're going to commit to 1 a week, commit to that first. Because sometimes what people find challenging is getting into that habit. But once you've gotten through those 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, it's ingrained. It's a habit. It's like brushing your teeth. You're doing it. And yes, we all fall off the wagon. Yes, all things come up in life. Yes, life is dynamic and we need to be able to shift and change when that happens. And that's okay, but we don't beat ourselves up over it. We just get back on track, get onto our goals, and keep on moving. And always be learning. Always be learning. So if your intention is to lose weight, get fit and healthy, or build a business, or whatever it is you're doing, you're probably doing a couple of things. A lot of women these days have kids, husbands, businesses. They're doing multiple things. So what you need to do is to make sure that you're always learning new skills, and also as you're doing that, not to overload yourself. Just take on the things you can do and then learn how to delegate the rest. Because I'm going to tell you, delegation is probably the best thing you can do. And look for the things that you know that you don't like to do and make somebody else do them, or get somebody else to do them, or pay somebody else to do them, because that's what I do. I do that now. If I like, do I like cleaning my house? I'm a pretty clean person anyways, but there are times when I just don't want to. I do it, but there are times I don't want to. And when I don't want to, I call my girl and she comes over and she's just a dream, and she comes through the whole place. And it just gives me a reset. And while she's doing that, I'm working. So again, pick what you want to do in your life, and then delegate the rest, because it's so important to do that. So those are all my tips I've got for you today, you guys. And of course, I never like to leave without doing the book of pages. So based on our conversation today, it'd be interesting to know about setting intention, and what book should I grab today is going to be this one. I grabbed the first book, you guys. It's my first book that I'm grabbing. And I love this one because the foreword was done by Wayne Dyer, who is one of my favorites. I so miss his. Oh, that's all I can say. So this one is called Ask and It Is Given. I love this. Learning to manifest your desires. And who doesn't want to do that, right? Isn't that what the world's about? Manifesting, law of attraction, creating the life that you want, living from the end, all the things that we just talked about. And so for me, instead of pulling a card, which I haven't been feeling to pull cards, I pull cards when I'm training with my clients. We pull cards and stuff like that. But for this one, I want to do the book, what I'm calling, it's a thing I'm doing, the book of pages. And it's just picking a book off my shelf. And you guys can do this too. So if you've ever had one of those days where you're just like, oh, you just don't know what the day's about, and you're trying to figure out like what is the message in this day, and you don't know what the message is, go pick up one of your books, flip through the pages, and on the first page, the first paragraph is what you're going to read. And I already did this, you guys, so guess what? Here it is. Introducing 22 proven processes that will improve your point of attraction. That was the page. So I'm just going to read this page because it's got like 3, 4 little paragraphs. So this is going to set the tone for the end of the Facebook Live today. So now that you've made it this far into the book, and if you haven't read this book, you should. It's a great one. I even come back to it a couple of times. So now that you have made it this far in the book, you have been reminded of the many things you have always known. You now remember that you are an extension of source energy and that you come into your physical body, into this leading edge time-space reality for the purpose of joyously taking thought beyond that which has been before. You now remember that you have a guidance system within you that helps you to know in every moment how much of your connection to that which is your source you are right now allowing. You now remember that the better you feel, the more you are in alignment with who you really are. And the worse you feel, the more you are disallowing that important connection. You now remember that there is nothing that you cannot do or have. And you remember that if your dominant intention is to feel good, and that if you try to make the best of where you are, you must reach your natural state of joy. You now remember that you are free. In fact, you are so free that you could choose bondage. And everything that comes to you is in response to the thoughts you are thinking. Now, isn't that amazing? Yeah, I have to say that you can be, do, or have anything you want so long as you're willing. So long as you're willing. That's all I can say about that. So long as you're willing. So that's it, you guys. So that was good. Again, all about intention, really. I mean, you want to be in a state of joy. Who doesn't not want to be in a state of joy? If you're not in a state of joy, you're not living in your true alignment. Remember that. And it doesn't mean that we don't all get a little annoyed sometimes, but really being in the flow is being in a state of joy. Kim, big thing you're working on? Ooh, I'm excited to hear about that, my dear. I just saw your comment. You know, I hardly ever see these comments, and now I see you. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Maybe you want to send me a message, or yeah, if you're working on it, it's probably hush hush. So I definitely do want to hear about it. You're always working on something, though. So I'm excited for you. So I can't wait to hear about that. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for stopping by. I was going to also say, listen, if you don't want to use the app and you want to do something different for a little meditation, I am going to post a link in here for a guided meditation that I have on my website. So I'll put the link there so you can find it easily and go download it yourself. It'll put you on my email list. I send a lot of free stuff out every month. Every month there's a new ebook or something going out. And there'll be some more meditations coming soon too as well. And so I'll put that link down below. And then if you do download it, do let me know what you think. Okay. And have an amazing rest of your week. And I'll see you next Tuesday for Transformation Tuesday. Bye for now.